Hey everybody, Frugal Farmer here. I'm out here on the porch working on a project and got my old trusty hammer out and it jarred back a bunch of memories. Well, I was bought this hammer, I don't know if it was a gift or what. In the summertime I worked for a friend of mine's father doing construction. Well, I showed up on the job to start with a hammer like this. He gave me a hammer to use temporarily. He said, you carry that hammer back and put it back in your toy box. Well, he went to the hardware store or lumber supply somewhere, and he brought me back this hammer. He gave it to me. He said, as long as I worked or agreed upon, which was a few months, the hammer would become my property. And you got to understand, I was a young man at this time, and I was working in summers to help save up money to pay for my college, and my folks helped me too. But I was running the roads a good bit, and a lot of times I'd get to the job 2 or 3 in the morning, and I had my clothes in the job, and I always had a toothbrush, toothpaste, and water because I didn't like that morning taste in my mouth, and I'd sleep out there in my car and normally somebody come over there and tap up because you always had to be to the job early. You didn't get to the job and just start. You didn't get to that job and sit around, drink coffee, or smoke cigarettes. And if we started at 8, you were there at 4:45, and you better be ready to go at 5:00. This guy, he was tough now, but he was consistent. And I love that about people. He was tougher than nails. Sometimes they'd pull up and I might just be getting to the job site, but I'd be on time, and I'd be out in the area or either inside if the house was walled up enough, changing clothes because I hadn't even been home. And he'd just shake his head, and most of the time he'd tell them boys, he said, well, I'm going to put him over here doing something by himself. Don't talk to him, because I was feeling bad. I'd have aspirin too to help me feel better, and I was young. I could bounce back. But I worked for this guy quite a few summers, and I asked him years later, and he had retired. I said, why didn't you fire me? And he said, he said, you'd work. He said, you'd work as long as I wanted you to work. He said, you'd always come to work. He said, I know you felt bad on Thursday mornings. He said, but you'd be there. And I told him I still had his hammer, and he laughed about that. He said, no, he said, you earned that hammer. That hammer's yours. And I've had this hammer, gosh, pretty close to 40 years now. And I still use it and think of him. And I was a pallbearer at Jerry's funeral. And it took about 2 years where he and I came on friendly terms. Even though I knew his son, that did not hold me any favor in his eyes. I had to earn that favor, and I did. And he told me I did. And family asked me to be a pallbearer. And after we towed him to the grave and funeral was over with, I went and talked to his son, and I said, did you hear something coming from the casket? And he had a real pause. He said, what do you mean come from? I said, I could hear your dad's voice. And he looked at me, and I said, your daddy was telling me I wasn't carrying him level, to put a level on him, and put my back into it, and hold up my fair share of the load. And his son got to laughing because that was his daddy. That was some of his sayings. And he sat there. I guess we were hugging, and I guess everybody thought we were crying because they were come patting us on the back. But we were just sitting there laughing. And he went and told his sister, and she got to laughing about it. And but that was Jerry, though. Gosh, he's a good guy. And God, that's been a long time ago. But I got that memory all of a sudden. I said, man, I need to tell you all about Jerry. He's a heck of a good guy. Thanks for stopping by. Come back again when you will. Share, comment, like, hit that subscribe button. God bless.